Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.
Lori here.
Well, Lori, I have this lady. She's in a panic. She is concerned. Is her dream of moving to Mexico dead? Can she do it, Nowadays, to qualify for a temporary visa, it's quite expensive. We're looking at probably between $2,500 a month you have to show for 6 months worth of income. So that could be pensions, it could be Social Security, it could be income from investments and that. Another thing that somebody to qualify for a temporary visa, if you have between $45,000 to $55,000 in a bank account or in an investment account, and you can show that for over a year, you have to show bank statements for over a year, you can qualify that way. Then you don't have to show that $2,500 and up monthly income. That will be maybe a workaround on this problem for you if you have that type of money.
Okay. What can she do to live in Mexico legally?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And so one of the ways that you can do a workaround on this thing is you come down for a 6-month Mexican program. It's a tourist card. It's called an FMM tourist card. If you're coming across the border, you're probably going to be having to use that FMM tourist card. A lot of the airports are not asking for that, but if you're coming across the border, then you're going to need to do it by land. Now that tourist card will be good for 6 months.
Subscribe. If you didn't subscribe yet, please subscribe or make a comment or thumb up. So we are very appreciate that. Jerry, why don't you tell them about Sally? She has been living here for 8 years, only on a tourist visa.
Yeah. So what it is, I interviewed Sally. Now, she doesn't want to get on me to film her and that stuff like that. She's shy. So she's been living here for 8 years. She hasn't been able to qualify for a temporary or a permanent visa. She doesn't have that type of money. But she definitely wanted to live in Mexico. So she got the tourist card. So she's living down here at 6 months at a time. So she rents here. She just regularly lives here, stuff like that. She has her Social Security deposited in her account in the States, and then she uses a debit card to provide for her living expenses down here. So what's the program with that? Well, it's good for 6 months. So what she has to do is every 6 months, she actually has to take a bus back to the United States. She crosses the border. She goes over. Sometimes she visits friends or maybe even just spends the night there, and she turns around and she comes back and reapplies for another 6-month visa. She's been doing this for 8 years. She says, it's quite difficult at times, but she knows she has to do it to live here legally.
There is a lot of people who live here without the temporary or permanent visa.
Yeah, now Sally was telling us that her friends and stuff a lot of them are that way. Throughout Mexico, there are a lot of expats that are doing that. Well, how do they do that? How do the expats come in, don't have a permanent or a temporary visa, and by using the 6-month tourist card, it is legal. So you actually are legally in Mexico. You're not breaking any laws or anything like that, because this is a program that the Mexican government has set up. Actually, the Mexican government, they like that the expats are here 6 months or temporary or permanent visas, because we bring back money into the economy. We help the economy grow. The Mexican people in the expat community really like us because we're tipping them, we're giving them jobs, maybe as gardeners or housekeepers, stuff like that. The expats are contributing back to the community through social programs and giving a lot of support. So the Mexican government likes that, and so that's why they're being a little more lenient on the 100-day visa, not cracking down on people. As long, again, as you obey the laws and you live within, those parameters, then you're not going to have trouble with that. Now, maybe you've heard, or maybe you will hear, about people that have been denied re-entry back into Mexico. And this happens once in a while. So I asked Sally about that, and she said, yes, she heard that. And she also said that some of her friends, one of them in particular, had that happen to them. They were living here on their 6-month tourist card, and they were working in Mexico. That was the problem, she says. They're not supposed to work in Mexico, so they were breaking the law. So somehow government officials figured that out, and they denied them entry. So they couldn't come back into Mexico for 6 months. But after that 6 months, they were able to come back into Mexico, but they're not working. So you have to comply with the laws, or else maybe you'll get busted. But Sally says that she hasn't had any problem with that. So if you come down into Mexico, you comply with going back and forth every 6 months. You don't overstay here. You discipline yourself. Some people, what they'll do is they'll maybe go visit another country. They may go to Costa Rica, they may go to Guatemala. And so when they come back in, then they start that 6-month program again. Some people will take the bus, or they'll take a car, or they'll carpool up to the United States and the closest border crossing, and then they'll renew their 6-month visa. So it's a little bit of a frustration, but you can live in Mexico that way, and then you can live your dream here. So don't lose hope.
That's right. Don't lose your hope.
Another program, sometimes, this is not everyday occurrences, but sometimes the Mexican government has, in the past, actually forgiven people who have lived here, and people have been able to apply at the immigration office and been able to stay in Mexico and have their status from a tourist visa type of card to a temporary card. And so, but that's not happening right now. And that's something you may want to contact a immigration attorney and ask them if that's when that program is, or maybe they can alert you to when that program maybe starts again. But I wouldn't count on it. But I thought I'd just give you a little information on the past, the way they have done that.
Okay.
Well, Sally told me that now she has a temporary visa. She had an inheritance that came through, so she could qualify for that. Also, she wanted people to know, to be realistic about living in Mexico. She says that her friends, male and female, single people, they're spending anywhere from $1,800 a month, $2,200 a month, and more living here. So that's her experience. So don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, huh, Larry?
Yeah, don't lose hope. Subscribe. If you didn't subscribe yet, please subscribe, thumb up, or ask a question. How you say the other word? Subscribe. Comment, yeah. Okay, I will say that again.
Okay, go ahead.
What time she do? Oh, what time?
Not time.
Not the time. What can she do to live in Mexico legally?
Yeah, if you would like to book a phone consultation with me, I can answer any questions that you may have, such as what people have asked in this video. Also, we can talk about where great places to vacation in Mexico, where you can go on a vacation for less than $1,000 a month for that. When we go on our vacations, we don't spend any more than $700 a month. You can ask me questions about, can you bring a dog into Mexico? How much money are you typically going to spend to travel in Mexico? How about the immigration laws? I hear they're changing. Where is the best border to go across to get the lowest charges in immigration fees? Also, you can talk about housing in Mexico. Should you build a house or should you rent a house? What is it? Can I get an Airbnb in Mexico for 6 months? I would like to know that. So those are questions that you could ask me. And at the end of the video, there's going to be a box that pops up on the left-hand bottom corner, and it's going to say book now. Touch on it, it'll send you to a booking site. Let's talk on the phone and get together. There is a service charge for that. Okay, this has been Jerry
And Lori here.
with Jerry Brown Travels.
Lori here.